The triple effect is based on our life balance and laws that govern the seen and unseen. These universal laws are interpreted as three: do, say, and feel, the triple effect. As in the understanding of human engagement or interaction, we must assess the three to connect and find balance. We will explore universal laws that affect us all, one way or another, and they are all around us. Our show is centered around a theme of balance and polarity in order for us to make and keep connections, which, if done with the right energy, will elevate our being to attain our highest capabilities. Hello again. Good evening. I'm your host, Rashid Hill, and this is The Triple Effect. This is my podcast, the show of shows, something that I've been looking forward to for years and years and years. But it is my pleasure to be with you this evening. We're going to have an exciting time together. I may not be this excited all the way through it, but believe you me, at the cellular level, I am jumping up and down and having a good time. So I invite you to sit back, relax, kick your feet up, take your shoes off, get your cup of glass or a pitcher of cold water or lemonade and enjoy the show. If you're in your car, if you're riding a horse, if you are sitting in your office, or if you're sitting at home, flip it on, block out everything, because tonight we're going to talk about the law of polarity, the law of balance, and polarity. The law of balance is the theme of the triple effect. The triple effect, it is a broadcast, right, that I turn into a podcast to go along with the actual broadcast, because eventually I want to create a series of shows. And so we have the actual show, the visual, and we have the podcast, the audio that you can listen to on the go without taking your eyes off the road if you're driving. So the triple effect is a podcast that evolved into an online broadcast for our audience to join in on the conversation. So a lot of times we'll do the Zoom, and you can actually participate by dialing in, calling in, typing in questions or comments so that we may engage a little better. You may ask, what is the triple effect? What is it based on? The triple effect is based on our life balance and universal laws that govern the seen and the unseen. There are three that I like to say, and I keep it simple. The three are do, say, and feel. The triple effect. Do, say, and feel. As in the understanding of human engagement or interaction, we must access the three to connect and find balance. We will explore universal laws that affect us all one way or another, because it's all around us. Our show is centered around the theme of balance and also polarity, in order for us to make and keep connections, which, if done with the right energy, will elevate our being to attain our highest capabilities. This is the triple effect. When we talk about do, say, and feel, those are words that are utilized in mindfulness as well as in mindset training or mindset development. And in my coaching, it dives a little deeper into that because my impact on the world, my impact on each individual that I coach, I really want it to be lasting. I want something sustainable, so that I like to dig deeper into the words. But I like to use simple words that anybody can understand, but the meaning has to be thought-provoking and activate your intellect. So the word that comes to mind in that consistent thread of say, do, and feel is integrity. Do what you say and say what you do. That is the essence of delivering the feeling that you want people to walk away with when you're interacting or engaging with them. The triple effect. Integrity is easy to describe, less easy to carry through on. Basically, it's always doing exactly what you say you will do. Sort of like a modified golden rule. Always do as you say you will. One example is when you are speaking with a friend or somebody you consider a friend, a lot of times we take it for granted that what we say to them may not necessarily be what we're going to follow through on. And that shouldn't be the case, because no matter who it is, if you say you're going to meet somebody at 5 p.m., then you should follow through on that. If you say you're going to dial in, if you say that you're going to be available at a particular time, don't take it for granted that your friend will understand because you're not on time. Integrity, the integral part of that word means to be consistent, to be at one, not divided. Integrated. Integrity is something that we value and you should value as well. And so you should practice in situations that may not be as important as if they're the most important. Because some people don't say yes and mean yes. But some people will say no and mean no. But you may not understand it because you don't have integrity. And when people do not believe in your words, then you really have no meaning to them. So let's look at 5 things you can leverage to maximize your achievement. Because we don't want to get stuck, right, in the negative, because I want to take you from lack of integrity, lack of balance, and polarity into maximum achievement. How do you take yourself from a position of negative or less than to a greater than? So how do we shift from what I call mindset to mind shift? How do we take ourselves and put our energy into something that brings about the best change, the best in us, right? And before I even go there, because I want to talk to you a little bit about the 5 things you can leverage for maximum achievement. But before I do that, since this is something that, like I said, I enjoy this. You know, this is my time to reach out to my audience, reach out to people that understand intelligent conversation. You know, I love saying that because the people that I want to talk to, the people that I want to deal with on a daily basis, there must be something that is connecting on a metaphysical level. You know, what is it that draws us together to have this interaction in this space and time? Time is valuable. You know, your time is valuable, my time is valuable. So if you're taking the time to listen to this, you may be doing something else, but you're honoring me by listening to it while you're doing whatever you're doing. So it's not taken away from anything that you're doing. Your day doesn't stop, right? Now, if it did, that'd be kind of cool. But your day doesn't stop, you know, and be interfered with to obligate yourself to listen to what I'm saying. But when you do listen to the message of what I'm saying, then you honor me by doing that. But second thing is you're respecting your development, because I'm not going to give you any riffraff. I'm not going to sit here and talk about, you know, the president of the United States and the things that he's doing to bring down the culture and the status of the United States. You know, the people of the United States deserve better. And if they deserve better, then obviously the people around the world deserve better from that which comes from the United States. So why would I beat that up? You know, I could talk about, you know, the FBI investigation. I can go through all of the political things because that's what's buzzing right now. And some people might want to hear all that. Me personally, I listen to it because I want to understand what's going on in the world. I think it's valid. I have my opinion about a lot of the news that comes out today. You know, I could talk about the former president, Obama, and some of the things that I didn't agree with him on that. I can talk about people that I work with that I don't agree with. So it's not a matter of, hey, let's have a conversation about the negative things that's out there. I want to bring life into the dormant spots in your day, in your mind, in your intellect, and let's bring them back to life. And let's talk about something that energizes them. One of the topics that I wanted to talk about was community and family, and how family impacts community. And in that particular episode, I want to get into what family means to you, because I've heard that family is not necessarily blood. What do you think? Please let me know what you think. Is family only blood connections? I mean, you can go all the way back to Adam and Eve and say we're all family, or we can talk about people that actually do what family does versus actual blood that don't do what you expect or would presume family should do. I mean, there are brothers that don't take care of each other in the absence of their parents. There are sisters that will do things that you would not believe they would have the capacity to do. But then there may be two friends that will look out for each other from 5 years old all the way to 50. Married, unmarried, whatever that may be. But sometimes you have these, what they call friendships, from childhood. But somebody could say, that's my family. You have gangs that what we call a gang, another person calls family, because their own family is fighting all the time, is doing evil things within that circle, and they don't consider that a loving environment. And they go outside of that in order to find the love, connection, and significance, which comes from what we call a gang. But that might be a community group that is relating and restoring the integrity of the people that they associate in their community, that nobody else brings any light to that particular area in that city or in that region or in that state. So there are so many variations on what is family, but then what is community? So does the family unit create community? And it could. So I would love to hear your feedback on what is family to you and what is community to a family. But what is the family and the community doing in your mind? Is it beneficial? What do you know about your community? What could you do to help your community? I've joined organizations that are promoting education and empowerment. You got the Black community, you got the greater community as a whole in the state and city that I live here in San Diego. So there are things that we can do to make sure that we're doing our part on all fronts. And I love to use this platform to talk about that. If you listen to my previous episodes, you'll see that I have interviewed the president and vice president of We Will Rise, which is a definite Black empowerment, taking care of the community, extending themselves to be available to the youth for literacy and professional development. We Will Rise suit drive, tie drive, mentorship, just a lot of these things we're partnering with other groups to do. So what are the 5 things that we can leverage for maximum achievement? 1, we can leverage time. You can get more time when you group several things that you want to do together for one goal or one outcome, right? Tony Robbins calls that chunking. I think it's a term that's used by other people, but it's called chunking. Another way is to leverage your time is to delegate tasks to employees and assistants and children and other people that's not necessarily your main focus, but you can have other people do that. And you can focus on your core specialty. The second part is leveraging achievement. Now, in leveraging achievement, you may be thinking that achieving a goal you set out to accomplish is enough in itself, but consider whether you can spread this limited win to other areas of your life. So if you're really good at one thing, then maybe you can utilize that particular win or that achievement or that particular skill that you've developed over time that's been recognized in commercials to help facilitate a fundraiser, or grow your business, or help another business grow. And you can make appearances and help that to develop the community. Another thing you could do is leverage your connections. So there are friends, peers, and colleagues that you grew up with. You may be doing one thing, but there are other people doing a multitude of things that you may be looking to get involved in. So you can leverage those connections in order to better your status in society so that you may contribute more as well. You can do this on a small scale by leveraging connections. Let's say you work at a job. If you're working in the mailroom, you may have somebody that you delivered a package to, and it made all the difference in the world that they were expecting or looking forward to. And you did that. And you could leverage your actual connections with that particular person that's at a higher level in the organization. So there are so many ways that you can do things like this in order to further your career, further your knowledge, because the more knowledge you have of that company, the higher levels you may be able to reach. And that's not just done because you're selfish. No, that's done because networking is part of the promotion process. You could either be the mailman forever, or you could rise to the level of general manager or CEO because you stuck with it, because you learned that which was important to the company and that you could bring value, right, to the company and attain higher levels in order to bring more business, in order to create more leverage, in order to develop a platform that you can actually go out and create your own organization, foundation, or your own business. And a lot of companies are giving people the opportunity to do that. I think Amazon is one that's doing things like this. I think I read somewhere that they were giving employees $10,000 to start their own business. So it's not a negative thing to be an employee, because sometimes you're an employee, you learn the ropes, you learn how to create value for yourself, bring credit to yourself and your organization, and then somebody recognizes that and gives you an opportunity. And when you see that opening, then you deliver like they've never seen before. And then you have your opportunity to start your own business or get stock in the company. And when it grows, then your financial and wealth and your legacy grows as well. So leveraging connections is vital in this day and time, because it's not really what you know, it's who you know. So another thing is leveraging your talents and skills. While having talent is really awesome, sometimes you get lucky. But everyone has a story of the one time, the one thing that you really was good at, but you screwed up. You did not succeed because you did not execute. You did not nurture your talent. And one, you probably didn't think that was a talent you had, so you didn't focus on it. Talent without hard work, you're not going to make it. You have to nurture your talent. One of the things that comes to mind is high school. A lot of times in high school, we may uncover a talent that we have, but if we don't know it's a talent, then we may not nurture it, and then it will never develop into what we should be using it for. So high school students, identified as gifted in high school, struggle and even rebel when professors start requiring them to work for their grades in college. So individuals who take their talent for granted and fail to invest in them, they miss the breaks that come along in their career. So like I said, if you're not recognizing that you're smart, if you're not recognizing that math is easy, if you're not recognizing that English is attractive, if you're not recognizing those talents, if you're not recognizing the fact that when most people are reading and studying and getting their grades, and you're actually selling watches, you're selling candy, you're selling lemonade, you go to the store, you buy something for $5 and you resell those items individually for $3 each. Now you got $30. You're an entrepreneur at a young age. Nurture that, build on that, grow that, because the world needs more small businesses. That's how we change the environment. That's how we change the story. We can rewrite history by creating a better future. And we got to focus on being creators and innovators. That creative gene is in there. It's in there. We just have to nurture it, and we have to grow it, and we have to be an example of change for the better. Leverage your talent and acquire skills by continually adding to them. You can do that. When you find out what you're good at, then you can take that and then you can add on top of that. Don't limit yourself to one thing and be siloed into that, because if you're good at, I don't know, running track, you may be good at running hurdles, and then you can develop catching a ball while running. So if you're fast, put a ball in your hand, you can run track and play football. You may be able to catch really good. You may be able to throw really good. Well, if you can do that, then you may be able to play baseball. You may be able to play basketball. And if you can do those things, then your mind obviously has to figure out the plays. You have to remember the plays. You have to be intelligent enough to know where to be when you're supposed to be there on the field. Well, take that same analytical skill into the classroom. And now when you're making D's, now you're making B's, because you're applying the knowledge and you're transferring that knowledge into your studies. So you can be that all-around athlete. You know, I've met people that don't want to acknowledge that athletes have a dominant status in the Black community, or just general community as a whole. And they think that being Black and an athlete is a negative stereotype. I disagree. I believe in a Black and an athlete, you have to have a level of knowledge. You have to have a level of intellect in order to be the greatest athlete. When you look at the quarterbacks, the Black quarterbacks that are in the NFL, if you've looked at their plays, if you look at the variety of positions they have to know, if you look at the thickness of the playbook itself, there's one person on that field that's smart as the coach or smarter. And that's the quarterback. So when you see a Black quarterback, you acknowledge him. That athlete is not a dummy. That is not a position that you frown upon as if it's a negative stereotype. It is a highly advanced stereotype. It is an intelligent stereotype to acknowledge that a quarterback, and if he's Black, he is not a negative stereotype. He has excelled in an area that most people cannot. And he is amongst some of the smartest people in pro football, or even in basketball, or in other sports as well. But you got to have a level of intelligence to rise to pro status. That's what I'm saying. And when you understand track athletes, and they're Black as well, that's not a negative stereotype, because they have to understand sprinters. They have to understand the velocity that they need to be at in order to pace themselves if it's a short distance or a long distance. And so when it's a short distance, they have to know the reaction time when they come off the blocks. Then they have to know their acceleration. Where is your acceleration? How long you should accelerate before your body has hit maximum velocity. And then they have to be able to maintain that speed, right, to the end of their race. But the smart ones will calculate where they will have the maximum increase or the maximum push, the maximum explosion of speed, to where they don't go over their maximum capacity to sprint. And when they do that, they can maintain the highest level of their sprinting capability, right? And when they do that, they can maintain that level longer than the person next to them. When they understand all of these phases of the sprint, other people look like they're being passed at a very fast pace. When they're not going any faster, it's just other people are losing ground at a faster pace because they don't understand how to maintain the maximum velocity for their bodies. So in order to understand these things, no, being a Black and an athlete is not a negative stereotype. It is a very intelligent stereotype, and I support it and I promote it. The last thing, which plays right into that, is leverage your education. Well, just a bit of a story. Like the 3 athletic women CEOs, I've read about them in a previous article, you too can get ahead by leveraging a time-limited experience into another era of your life. So when I talked about leveraging your talents and leveraging your connections, well, leveraging your achievements, one of the areas is if you are an athlete and you are a pro athlete and you have excelled in athletics, then you can take that, because now, like I said, the level of knowledge you have to have, the analytics that you have to possess, then you can utilize that skill set, your degrees, and leverage your connections to get an opportunity to run a company. And when you get yourself into that environment, because many of the athletes at that level, or they have bachelor's and master's degrees in business. And so when they have this business degree, that means they've studied about operations, they've studied about supply chain, they've studied about, finances and accounting and human resources. So they have the basic knowledge to do it. Now they just need a space or an opportunity or a connection to get out there and do it. And when they do that, they've leveraged, one, the degree, which is their education. They're leveraging their achievements as an athlete. And that's a combination that has taken, Magic Johnson, has taken Michael Jordan, has taken LeBron James, has taken Deion Sanders. All these guys are excelling outside the court and the football field. You're talking about the, what's the other guy's name? Earl Campbell from, way back. And these guys, a lot of them, I see their numbers, I see their faces, but I can't pull all the names out right now. But that's not important. The important thing is there are some amazing athletes that are CEOs that are doing great things in communities all over the country. And so they're leveraging their achievements and they're leveraging their connections, but they're leveraging their education as well. So all 5 of these leverages are amazing. And so it is imperative that as we grow and develop, as we talk about building our community, as we talk about creating more families, then our connections with our families, then we have to understand to bring back in balance, right, the connection between family and community, then we must leverage the education. We must leverage the connections, the networking. We must leverage our achievements. We have to leverage our time by contributing to the community. This is the essence of why I love this platform, to have these conversations with you, because it is inevitable that we will, at a point in time, be tested. And when we're tested, we want to pass the test. So the triple effect is based on our life balance and universal laws that govern the seen and the unseen. The 3 that I talk about is do, say, and feel. These are the 3 ideals, attributes. These are the 3 connectors that I believe are essential to engaging and interacting with our community and our fellow man and woman. We have the opportunity, we have the ability, and we have the know-how to succeed in any area that we choose. I'm Rashid Hill, and it is my pleasure to be the founder of L3 Coaching Solutions. I'm the author of 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better, a personal and professional development guide. I am the creator of the HERO model. It's a coaching model. High excellence results option is the only option. And it's a coaching model for group coaching or individual coaching, personal and professional development. And I am the host and creator of this show, The Triple Effect. The Triple Effect is in full effect. I welcome you to join me every Friday, 7 p.m., right here. And if you have any questions, any concerns, any comments, feel free to connect with me right here on this channel, either YouTube, Facebook, or my podcast. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, I'm out.